Hey everybody, it's Brooke with The Buttered Home and welcome to my messy kitchen. Today we have one of our new holiday favorite desserts to share with you, and it is our peach and pecan custard pie. This will be an heirloom recipe that you can share with the people that you love for years and years to come. So we always start off with an unbaked pie crust. And this time of year, I keep these mixed up and in the refrigerator for whenever I need them. That recipe can be found over at thebutteredhome.com, and it's a lot simpler than you would think. So, store-bought works good too. But this holiday season, get in the kitchen and try to make your own pie crust. We have a really easy method that we'd love to share with you. I'll try to share that soon so that everybody can see it. But we've just got a whole host of wonderful ingredients to share with you. We are using fresh peaches that we've peeled and sliced, but now you can use frozen or canned peaches. If you use frozen, allow them to thaw and drain them. If you use canned peaches, try to get the kind in its own juice and then drain them and just rinse them off a bit. You don't want a lot of added sugar to this because this kind of comes in just a tad healthier than most pies. And we want to keep it that way. So don't add a lot of the syrup in there. Also, we like using Priester's Pecan Halves. This is a family-owned business that's local here for us in Alabama, and we really like what they're about. They're family-owned, family-operated, and they serve their community and help support their community with jobs and a wonderful gift store. So y'all check out Priester's, and their pecans, top notch. So we're using whole pecan halves. We're not chopping them up or anything like that. So we're adding kind of a chunky texture to this pie. So let me hush and let's get started. All right, to a large mixing bowl, we are going to add the following ingredients. We are going to add in 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. And I hope you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. Then we are going to add in, and I apologize, my list is all out of order here. 1 cup of sugar. Oh me. We're gonna add in 3/4 cup of milk. 3/4 cup of unsweetened, low-fat Greek yogurt. And I'm not even gonna try. I didn't get a spoon, so we're gonna go with what looks like 3/4 of a cup. But this is kind of to help add just a little bit of creaminess to your pie, and you won't taste the yogurt, I promise. But this is also a healthy fat that we're adding in. Now to that, we're gonna add in 2 eggs that I have lightly whipped up. And just give that a whisk. So we have 1 cup of sugar, 3/4 cup of low-fat milk, 3/4 cup of unsweetened, unflavored Greek yogurt, and then we have, goodness me, 2 tablespoons of flour and 2 eggs. Now to this we're going to add in just a few more ingredients. We're going to add in 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. Oh, I just spilled it everywhere. I apologize. Let me see if I can take it out of the box and do this a little bit better. 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. This will help kind of thicken everything. Just set that out of the way. And I'm going to get that mixed in. Cornstarch can be kind of lumpy, so I add it by itself after I've kind of dissolved the flour in the sugar. And then 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then because it's sweet, we're going to add in just a pinch of salt to kind of balance all of those sweet flavors out. And that is our custard. You really don't need that many eggs to make a custard. You just don't. All right, now I'm going to get our pie plate. Now, you'll notice anytime I bake a custard-based pie, I always put it on a baking sheet. Always put it on a baking sheet because it's going to kind of jiggle and run, and this is a lot easier to get out of the oven than just taking this out of the oven and running the risk of sloshing everything around. It may not really help, but in my mind, it helps a lot. So there's something to be said for that. So in the pie crust, we're going to place just about all of our 2 cups of sliced peaches in there. I've reserved some out to the side so that we can put them on top. Just so I like for people to know what they're getting. And then we're going to do the same thing with the pecans. So I'm going to leave out a few. But this calls for about 1/2 cup of pecans. And if you wanted to, you could chop them up. I just like the whole pecan, whole half in here because it just adds, it's kind of like the baby in the king cake around Mardi Gras. It's just a nice little surprise. So we put everything of that on the bottom of the pie crust. And then we just reserve these out to put on the top. So we're going to pour our custard directly over all that. And don't worry about if any of it floats, because it could. If you wanted to push everything down to kind of get it back where you wanted it, you certainly can. And this is just a 9-inch pie that we're doing. So if you have a bigger pie plate, it's going to make a shallower pie. Now, just to keep things interesting, I'm going to just take these few peaches and place them on the top. Now, you can also do this at the halfway point of baking if you wanted to, after that custard sets. But I like to just put the reserved pecans up there too, because on any given day, you know, your ingredients, they may not float. So I always reserve some out in case they all stay stuck to the bottom. Then you can put these on top and it just makes a really pretty presentation. And then you don't have to worry about doing like a pie crust top on here. All right, so we have our oven set to 400 degrees. We are going to pop this guy in there for 30 minutes, okay? Then we are going to take it out and lower our oven temperature to 350, and we'll tint these edges if it's starting to get browner than I want it to. And then at 350, we're going to bake it anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes more until a knife comes out clean from the center. Now, like most custards, they're deceiving. When you take them out of the oven at the end of that cook time, they still look a little jiggly. As they cool, they set up. So somewhere between that additional 30 to 45 minutes, you could even go another 60 minutes if you wanted to be sure. But I start checking at an additional 30 at 350 for that clean knife in the center. And then once that happens, jiggly or not, it comes out and we let it cool and rest, and it will continue to set up. Custards are magic that way. So we're going to pop this in for our first 30 minutes at 400, take it out, check the edges, tint them if we need to with a little foil around the sides. If not, then we're going to lower our heat, return it to the oven at 350, a lower, cooler oven, for anywhere from 30, 45 to 60 minutes, just until we do that knife test and it comes out clean. So when that happens and it cools a bit so that I can taste it for you, we'll be back. So y'all hang tight. All right, everybody, we are back. So at 400 degrees, we finished our 30-minute cook time. My edges were fine. I didn't have to tint them or anything. So I carefully, well, first I lowered the temperature of the oven to 350. Then I carefully placed the pie back into the oven, and at 30 minutes I checked it again and it was ready. My little cake tester came out clean. So now I have allowed it to cool, and you're really supposed to let it cool for about an hour. But I let it cool for about 40 minutes, so we'll see. Maybe it won't fall apart on me. But I just couldn't wait anymore. So let's look at how beautiful. I mean, can we just take just a minute to appreciate the beauty of what is this pie? I mean, it is gorgeous. It is nice and browned on top. You can see the beautiful peaches and the pecans that we laid in it. And it's just fantastic. I mean, it is a beautiful, beautiful pie. All right, so now I'm gonna cut a piece, and you know, the first piece is always the cook's piece because it looks terrible. So let's see if we can get this guy out of here in one piece. All right, there we go. Yeah, and it's coming out, but like the cook's piece, that look, if you cut the first piece of pie and it falls apart, it doesn't mean your pie is bad, okay? It just means that it's the first piece. But y'all, it's perfect. It's beautiful. That custard has cooked up just all nice and pretty and has just kind of wrapped itself around the pecans, and it just has turned into this glorious, and let me get it where you can see it. The peaches have cooked up all nice in there, and it's just gorgeous. So it's hot, but I'm gonna try it. So hang on, let me get some peach and some pecan in there. So yeah, you probably want to let it sit for a whole hour. But don't be like me, don't be in a hurry. So here's the beautiful thing about custards. They're not that sweet. They're really not. The sweetness from this pie comes from the peaches. And it's a nice texture change. And then you've got those pecan halves in there. And since they have cooked in that custard, they have almost roasted. So it adds a whole new level of delicious roasted flavor to this pie. So this pie, being that it's a standard egg custard like it is, it's good, but it's not too sweet. You put the peaches in there and it just takes it to a whole nother level. And then the pecans add a texture and a whole nother depth of flavor to it too. So we would love to see this pie make its appearance on your holiday table this year. It has fast become one of our favorites since we put it together last year when we were prepping for all of our material for this year. This is a good example of how you can take a base recipe, one that probably most people have, a custard or even a buttermilk pie, and with a little thought, you can add other components to it and make it into something completely different. That's what cooking is about, y'all. It's the greatest experiment ever. And I am so happy that we all get to be a part of this together, because this is my favorite thing to do. You can add cinnamon, nutmeg. There are all kinds of other spices you can add in here to take this recipe and make it your own. And that is what we want you to do. This recipe, like all of our others, can be found over at thebutteredhome.com, and you can print it for free. Then take it and add to it. Make it your own. That's what we want you to do. We want you to be thinking about your recipes and develop your own style and your own process to your recipes, just like we do here. There's nothing more fun to me. And to know that you all are doing that too, it just kind of fills my heart with joy. So, make sure if you make this, take a picture of it, send it to me, tag me in it. I love pictures of food. And if you're not already, make sure you're following us on all of our social channels. We have a real good time, and we want you there with us for everything that we've got going on. As usual, if you want all of our recipes, videos in one place, head over to YouTube and search for The Buttered Home. When you find us, make sure that you hit that subscribe button so that you can be notified when we drop new videos like this one. Okay, I'm going to let the rest of the pie finish cooling, like I should. And then I'll probably share it with everybody else. So, y'all be here next week for another great recipe. And as always, from the buttered home to your home, we love y'all. Bye.